Ask you a question. How often when a non-Catholic friend or neighbor comes up to you to ask you a question about the Catholic Church, do they say, "Hey, you're Catholic, right? I've always wondered, what's up with the Church's teaching on the hypostatic union?"
Never.
All the time, right? Or what's more likely? Hey, what's up with the Church's teaching on same-sex marriage? Or contraception? Or abortion? Right? Most of the time when we have opportunities to talk with non-Catholic people about our faith, it's around these moral issues, especially the hot-button moral issues of the day. Catholic moral teaching is based on a natural law understanding of morality. And we don't have time to talk about any specific moral issues in this talk, but I can give you 3 key aspects of the natural law that I think will help you be more comfortable talking about any moral issue that someone may ask you about. Okay? And those 3 things are: the natural law is ontological, the natural law is Catholic, and the natural law is teleological. Now, if you only understand one of those 3 words, that's okay. That's what I like to call 50-cent words. But the good news is, you don't have to remember those words at all. You just have to know what they mean. And even though the words are complicated, what they mean is actually really simple. And that's what I want to talk about now. So let's tackle that first word. The natural law is ontological. All that 50-cent word means is that it's based on being. And the being in question is you and me, right? Human beings. Right? The nature in natural law, that nature part, doesn't refer to like stuff that's outside, like we commonly use the word nature, right? It refers to human nature, that common humanity that all of us share. And that's important to understand, because a lot of times when people try and explain the reasons behind the Catholic Church's different prohibitions against things, right, and what we teach are immoral, like for example homosexual acts, they'll use phrases like, "Well, it's unnatural," and then someone will show you a YouTube video of 2 amorous male goats and say, "Well, see, it happens in nature, so it's morally acceptable." Well, I can show you a YouTube video of a female praying mantis devouring the male after mating. Right? Just because something happens in nature doesn't mean that it's acceptable human behavior. And that's the key question when we're talking about any moral issue, is what is good human behavior? Right? Now, we can have debates over how to answer that question, but our human nature, our shared human nature, provides the basis for that conversation to happen. And that brings us to the second aspect of the natural law that I want to talk about, and that is that it's Catholic. Now, by Catholic, I don't mean that it's particular to the Catholic Church, although as I just said, the Catholic Church does rely on the natural law for its moral teaching. You probably can't tell from my accent, but I'm pronouncing Catholic with a lowercase c. Did that come across? The word Catholic here, of course, means universal. The fact that the natural law is based on human nature makes it universally applicable to all of humanity, not just Catholics, not just Christians. It doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, if you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Wiccan, even a Methodist. If something's wrong for me, it's wrong for you, and it's wrong for human beings generally. And that's why we shouldn't hesitate to take our moral teachings out into the world. Many times, especially during election cycles, Catholics might be accused of trying to legislate our religious beliefs, but there's an important difference between trying to legislate theology and legislating morality. It would be wrong of us, for example, to try and pass a law requiring everyone to be baptized. You can't legislate belief. But we legislate morality all the time. We have laws against theft. We have laws against murder. These are immoral acts that are also illegal because of the common good of society. And what is that common good? St. Augustine said, and I'm paraphrasing him, that the common good is that which makes it as easy as possible for a man to live a virtuous life. A more secular definition might be that the common good is that which benefits or serves the interests of all of society. But both of these definitions touch on my third and final point, and that is that the natural law is teleological. And that's another 50-cent word, but all that word means is that it's ordered toward an end or a goal. The natural law itself, and so all of the moral teachings that derive from the natural law, is ordered toward an end, because human beings are ordered toward an end. All of us, whether we believe in God or not, all have certain goals in life. We all want peace. We all want to get along reasonably well with our neighbors, our friends, our families. In short, we all just want to be happy. And on a purely natural level, living in accord with the natural law will help us to achieve that. Now, that doesn't mean that if you live a good moral life, nothing bad will ever happen to you. That's not how it works. But it does mean that you'll have a better time of things generally than you would otherwise. You can think about it for just a minute. How much of the pain, the suffering, the frustration that you have to endure in life is brought about either because you made a dumb, immoral decision, or someone close to you made an immoral decision, and now you're having to live with those consequences. The whole point of studying morality is to help us learn to make good, wholesome decisions so that we can achieve that happiness that we're all striving for in this life. Now, of course, as Catholics, we also believe in an eternal life. Most of us know the definition from the Baltimore Catechism that the purpose of man is to know, love, and serve God in this life so that we can be happy with him forever in the next. Well, the natural law helps us achieve that end as well. We can't get there apart from Christ, of course, but in his humanity, Jesus shows us what it means to perfectly follow that law which is written on our hearts by our Creator. By living in accordance with the natural law, we're cooperating for God's design in our lives. And in this way, the natural law can help us to reach that final end of eternal and supernatural happiness in heaven. I think that's worth learning a couple of 50-cent words, right? But even if you don't remember those 50-cent words, you can remember, I hope, those three important aspects of the natural law the next time you have an opportunity to talk about why the church teaches what she does on any of these key moral issues. And that is that the natural law is based on our being, right, our shared human nature. The natural law is universal in its application, and the natural law is ordered toward an end. That end being our natural happiness here on earth, and with God's grace, supernatural happiness forever in heaven. God bless.